All right, here we go. Tweeting it out. Got our live dashboard up. This is going to be session 22. Okay. Here's the part that's so weird about this performance thing on this computer is the weirdest thing. Because if I run this game right now, it's going to be slow as molasses. So weird. So we'll go to our guys here. We're just gonna bump up their bump our base speed up to 3. Do the same for the ghosts. Because this is slow. Okay. So here's the last bit of issues that I'm having. And that is with Hey Ulysses, how's it going, man? Long time no talk. Was it hot for you today? Because it was hot today. So tonight I'm kind of doing a little bit of cleanup, and I'm just getting certain things ready here. But I'm thinking about trying to test the multiplayer again. That one night I was trying it, I kept getting those. Look at that. Introduced a bug. Well, I thought that would work out perfect, but I was wrong. But so I've got different, I've got speed modifiers going on now based on how many pellets and all that kind of stuff. And so now detecting direction to turn is not being very reliable anymore, which sucks. So I've got to kind of fix that. But the other thing I was going to work on too is just to get the fright mode going. So I guess that should be triggered. That'll be triggered on and we're going to set the AI. So we'll set, if the power pellet is eaten, global frightened equals true. And then let's go back to AI. And we need to set up so if we're frightened, so this only should trigger if global frightened is false. We'll count up. Otherwise, the chase and the scatter modes freeze. And we're going to need to rename so we're going to call this count mode and count frightened. And then go back to step, and count step is now mode. And go through here and change them all. Okay. And Global frightened equals, and that should be double equals. And this should be double equals. If global frightened is true, then we set the count frightens up a tick, and if count frightened by room speed equal greater than or equal to, what is the number? So what you been up to? What'd you do today? Room speed equals 6. Then global frightened equals false, and count frightened equals 0. All right. So let's just see if this works. Okay, so it should be counting right now. Yeah, okay. So it works. Good, good, good. So now we need to tell the ghosts to change their behavior when frightened. And so that's going to be a little bit in their AI. So each ghost is going to have a frightened variable. All right, so here's how I'm doing this. On the next go around for the character, the frightened, global frightened gets flipped back to false. But before all that happens, the characters, the ghosts, are going to have their switch, their local switch for frightened turned on. And the reason why I'm doing it this way is because once you eat a ghost, they can go back to being regular old ghosty ghost. And so I want to make sure that and this needs to be, setting the speed needs to be after. Nothing much. I was just going to ask you, what'd you do? What have you been up to? I haven't been able to stream that much. Unfortunately, but I have been chipping away at this when I get a chance. Excuse me. Woo. All right, so but I just decided to just sort of finish up the game and then start the multiplayer stuff, because I'm so close to just sort of having the game done. And if I can get the game done, then I can get my wife to start working on new graphics and whatnot quicker. So that's what my thinking is. So here's where we do the if for frightened. So if we're frightened, then we're going to change our speed. We're going to do some other stuff. Else, we're going to do the regular mode. So there's so there's a couple things that speed when their fright ghost speed is 50%, so they're easier to catch. Oops, this should be the 50%. It's true, tonight is laundry night. We're doing some diapers. I don't know if you've seen where I'm at, man. Let me, completionist, let me show you here in a second. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised about how things are coming along. So long as this doesn't break anything, I'm adding the fright mode for the ghosts. So that I can see so that we can have them start to run from Pacman. And we're going to end all of the making Pacman part of this with having it so that the ghosts leave their room, because that's what I've determined to be like the most challenging thing, if you can believe that. And I think it's going to be simple, but okay. So there's a problem with some of this logic. She actually likes it. She won't quite say that, but when I shave it, she's not a fan. I know that much. Okay, so when I eat a power pellet, for a brief period of time, the ghost should be even slower. So let's just see what happens. Let me, I'm going to stop this and hit debug. Yeah, it's so funny when you have a beard and how it, like, sort of is, for some people, kind of instantly makes you intimidating. Oh, whoops. All right. I really need to stream on the other computer. I need to switch the other computer out here because it just... Okay, so... object speed is going to get reduced. Alright, we're getting there. So we're going to have to do some fancy stuff coming up here. We're going to do some fancy footwork. We're going to have to custom draw command for the... ghosts to make them blue. But we're about to have fright, guys. So yeah, now their speed's slower. And I'm not going to catch up to them because every frame... Oh, I got him. Come. So that should work. So... now we've got to do two things for the fright mode. Oh yeah, I could imagine flashpoints, man. If you had a flashpoint on your face and you had a beard. Okay, so we're gonna work on this. Should be pretty quick. I'm going to take some inspiration from this change direction code. We're going to go create script, and we're going to call this script random direction. And the point of this script is going to be to the AI. We've set up a value list here of directions. And we're going to roll the dice on that and then pick a direction. What's this? Ulysses sent a video.
I just figured out a way to save a bunch of money on Amazon.
Uh-oh.
So I've had this app called Honey for a while now. Honey is a...
Oh yeah, I've seen this.
I'm Billy Mitchell, video game player of the century.
Yeah, Billy Mitchell's in some trouble. Because it looks like he's been caught using an emulator, a MAME emulator for some of his Donkey Kong high scores. Okay. So we've got the DS list. Let's look up the documentation for DS list. So first thing we're going to do is roll the dice, right? We want to randomly shuffle the list around. So DS list shuffle, and then the ID. Okay, so it's just a command. So first thing we do is we shuffle our directions. DS list shuffle. So we're shuffling our available directions. And then we need to do a little bit of logic where we say, okay, let's take the let's take a ghost here. Okay, so I've got to do a little bit of housekeeping. We're going to take this code here for a direction. And I'm actually realizing that I can shorten all of the ghost direction code, because it's all the same. So I'm going to do that. We're just going to start cleaning this stuff up. We're going to call this SCR. These aren't the best names. But they're names. They're my names. They're not the best names, but they're my names. Darn it. So this is SCR. Choose direction. Okay. So let's just see if... Make sure Inky still works, and then we'll apply this to the rest of them. So I forget, do you do oil rigs? Is that your deal? It takes you away from the family and stuff, right? All right, looks like Inky can still figure out which ways to go. So we're going to apply this to the rest of them. And here's why we did that. Is because we want it to run inside this nest here. And then if it's frightened, we're going to do that random direction stuff. So delete. Alright. Pinky. So we're doing some Boy Scout stuff right now, right? We're doing some code cleanup, and we're doing some simplification, reducing the number of lines we have to look at, breaking things out, making code reusable. Okay, so all the ghosts should still work. Let's just double check. The only time they won't work is if I go to frighten. They're going to just not choose a direction to go, I don't think. Yeah. Senior field technician. Nice. Okay, so the ghosts are behaving the way we want them to. And now we've got that choose direction code. And this is the same code that we've got to use . Okay, so I think this will be the code. So we've got the fright mode, we've got the ghosts speed decreasing during the fright mode. So now what I'm working on is I got to go down the direction tree because we're going to shuffle the frightened direction for ghosts when it's yeah, see, this is tough. Hmm. Hmm. So I got to make a loop here. Okay, so I'm setting up an array, and I'm putting in we're going to call it array directions. And it's going to work out like this. So we've got 0, 0, and 0, 1, and then 1, 0, and 1, 1, and 2, 0, and 2, 1, and lastly 3, 0. And 3, 1. And the first value will be our direction. So 0, 90, 180, and 270. And we'll just make it the can go right. Can go right. Can go left. Can go down. And can go up. All right. And then we got to do a for each loop here, which I've never done in GameMaker, if you can believe that. So this is kind of boring right now. I apologize. I'm just getting some stuff ready for. We're going to count up to 3. See, if 4 isn't very good. Here we go. So we'll loop, and then if array directions I1. Okay, so we got to do a little bit here, right? So we're going down an index, right? So we've got the DS list as well. Sorry for the silence, though. Sorry for the silence. Whoa. Incoming hundreds of baby pictures. Lots of baby pictures. Okay, here we go. So let's double check this DS list that we have the AI making. It's okay, so it's at column 1, position 1. And we're going to be using that global right and direction. Okay, so we've got an array of directions, right? We've got whether it's true or false that they can go in those directions. Next, we've shuffled our list of available directions, possible directions. And now what we want to do is we're going to pull for each eye, we're going to pull that direction. And then we're going to say if the DS list value that we found okay, we've got to have 2 loops. We've got to have 2 nested for loops. Let's double check our available array functions. So here's our expression. Ulysses. This is the Mario Maker Ulysses. That's the plan, right? I think this should do it. So if we're at a turning point and we're frightened, Mortal Kombat X, that would be, you'd be so mad watching me play Mortal Kombat X. That would be frustrating for you to watch. I do have Monster Hunter. I have been playing that. Would that be good? Oh, I'm the worst. I mean, I could get good at fighting games, but definitely got my old man brain now, so. So basically, if the ghost is at a collision point, pick a random direction, and whatever one is the first available, go that way. Last day on Earth. So if any of these are true, we break the loop. This is going to be a miracle if I got this right on my first shot. So if any of these are true, I want to know about it. Okay, here we go. You should do gameplays. What do you mean by gameplays? I like that you're sticking through this. You just come back and you're like, is he playing a game yet? Is he playing a game yet? Is he playing a game yet? It's like, soon. Okay, so we're not triggering it yet. Oh, look at that. They're just floating out into space now. Oh, shit. All right, let's regroup here and figure out what the hell's going on. Look at that. Oh, but there's an interesting story or something. Yeah. I need a break at the very beginning of this because it's not happy. Alright, so the minute that the ghost has to pick a direction... See, it never fires. And then they just float off into outer space. All right, let's try again. Man, this is incredibly frustrating. Did I spell it wrong? God, it's so weird. I don't know what's going on. Okay. All right, man. Well, I'm going to go for the night, if you're still there. You have a good night.